It's Tuesday, February 6th, 2024. Let's talk about the news. From Reuters, Canada to sanction West Bank settlers and Hamas leaders. The Foreign Minister of Canada has announced sanctions on Israeli settlers who incite or commit violence against Palestinians in the West Bank, and new sanctions against Hamas leaders. The details of these sanctions have not been divulged, but they are likely to be similar to sanctions imposed by the U.S. on the same groups last week, as both governments are attempting to both support the Israeli government and protect Palestinian civilians from violent elements within Israel, including settler groups that regularly engage in violent attacks on civilians in the West Bank, as they illegally claim land in the territory for themselves and their government. From Ars Technica, Google will no longer back up the internet. Following years in which the search giant would keep a backup of web pages it crawled while mapping out links and generating search results, Google has announced that it will be doing away with its cached web page feature. The feature was created to help users who had unreliable internet connectivity load the sites they wanted to visit, and it allowed folks to reference earlier versions of sites and sites that are not loading for whatever reason. The majority of users probably were not aware cached sites even existed, which is likely part of why Google is getting rid of this no doubt expensive to maintain feature. But online archivists are concerned because these cached pages represent a huge stockpile of internet history documentation, and their disappearance from Google's servers leaves the Internet Archive as the only entity still attempting to keep these web page snapshots alive and available on a large scale. And from the Associated Press, crash tests indicate nation's guardrail system can't handle heavy electric vehicles. New research from the University of Nebraska has found that electric vehicles can plow right through the steel guardrails that line American highways, despite those same guardrails being more than capable of containing most gasoline-powered cars. Electric vehicles weigh about 20 to 50% more than their conventional vehicle kin, because their batteries are incredibly dense and heavy, in some cases weighing as much as a small passenger vehicle all by themselves, which makes them more resilient and safe for their passengers on average, but causes more damage to anything they collide with. Consequently, steel barriers meant to keep cars from flying off overpasses or toppling over cliffs are not capable of handling the increased weight of some EVs, pointing at one more element of the existing U.S. transportation system that will probably need increased investment and an overhaul as the country continues to slowly segue toward electrification. If you're finding some value in One Sentence News, consider leaving a quick review wherever you get your podcasts and/or sharing the show with a friend. You can find out more about this show or subscribe to the email version at onesentencenews.com. And you can support this and other related projects, like the Let's Know Things and Brain Lenses podcasts, at understandery.com.